Guidance is extremely hyped up and highly praised fragrance, but at the same time, it gets very mixed reviews. Some love it, some absolutely hate it, and someone in the comments just said that Guidance will be either your catnip or your kryptonite, and that is true. Explaining the scent is quite difficult because the composition is very blended, so it's hard to tell where one note ends and the other begins, but as always, I'll try my best to give you in-depth, really detailed review, and also I'll compare it with the new Guidance 46. How they smell, which one will be better for you, and what are the differences. You'll find out that and so much more in this detailed review. And hello everyone, I'm Miri, and on this channel we talk in depth about fragrances. But before the review, I have to praise these bottles. They're simply stunning and also pretty weighty. The original comes in such a cute ceramic pastel pink bottle with gold details and Amouage emblem up front, while Guidance 46 has incredibly beautiful flaken colored from the inside with ombre effect and some coral details. Both are topped with beige shell-like lid, and both bottles complement nicely extremely luxurious, high-quality scent hidden inside. Let's start with the original. On Amouage's website, it says that Guidance Eau de Parfum was inspired by a princess living in ivory tower surrounded by dewy mist. That princess loved to spend time in a lush garden with a marble fountain in the center next to scarlet roses. So do you truly get such fantasy-inspired scent? Wearing Guidance myself and spraying it on my friends and family, I've noticed that first impressions and the way Guidance blends with different skin chemistries can be quite opposite. Some get the strongest pear in the opening on their skin, while others get this burst of spices coming from frankincense. I am in the first group with strongest pear in the opening, but keep in mind that on your skin, Guidance can start off very spicy and not fruity like it does on mine, so before buying it, absolutely test it first. At the initial spray, I got juicy, fruity, sweet pear with a slightly sour, tangy smell of olibanum, which has some green citrus-like aroma. So basically what I get up front is this tangy green but also sweet pear, while underneath that fruity sweetness lies a very creamy hazelnut with soft, subdued incense and balsamic peppery woody olibanum. It's quite strange to see olibanum in top notes because it's usually used in base notes to provide some depth to the scent. Also, hazelnut is done differently compared to other hazelnut prominent fragrances. So for example, in Trussardi's Passeggiata in Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II, hazelnut becomes there a very gourmand, nougat-like chocolatey scent similar to Nutella, or in some other fragrances, hazelnut has a very dry, woodsy character, but here in Guidance Eau de Parfum, hazelnut doesn't become either gourmand, either too woody. It just gives off this incredibly rich, warm, smooth, nutty creaminess, creating almost hazelnut milk feel, but with a bitter toasted undertone. And because of such unusual hazelnut, pear, incense, and balsamic olibanum combo, in the opening there is something animalic, synthetic, and a bit dirty, but in a sensual way. And many say that the opening of Guidance Eau de Parfum smells like women's intimate areas. I kind of understand what people mean when they say that, but I would rather describe that sour animalicness as the scent of sweaty, heated human skin. Like, this should be off-putting, but the more I smell Guidance, the more it attracts me and pulls me in. So as you can see from this description, the scent is very complex from the initial spray because you get a myriad of fruity, sweet, nutty, incensey, animalic, balsamic notes blended into the most creamiest concoction possible. Imagine you just finished your workout, you're slightly sweaty, and then you drink nutritious spiced pear milkshake with hazelnut milk and some roasted hazelnuts while sitting on a wooden chair. So up front, you get this beautiful fruity pear, hazelnut, and some woody notes, while incense and animalic tones are in the background, giving unexpected, sensual, kinky bite to the scent. The opening lasts about an hour on my skin, and then it blends with rose, peachy osmanthus, and spicy saffron in the heart. So Guidance becomes more floral and spicier, but it never loses its fruity, creamy hazelnut aroma, which remains present until the end on my skin. Osmanthus gives a heady apricot peachy scent with some leathery facets, smelling almost like orange liqueur to my nose, while voluptuous scarlet roses are powdery and spiced because of the saffron that provides oriental bittersweet undertone, balancing fruity and floral elements and giving complexity to the scent. So imagine you're sitting in a wooden chair drinking spiced peachy pear hazelnut milkshake next to roses in a vase and a glass of orange liqueur on the table nearby. And this more floral, rosier, spicier stage of that creamy pear and hazelnut you got from the opening lingers about 3 to 4 hours on my skin. The base is absolutely the most beautiful part of Guidance in my opinion, because as the scent settles on your skin, it becomes woodier, more ambery, more powdery, vanillic, with this incredibly creamy, polished fluffiness, while fruity florals play a supporting role. The scent has a lot of depth and this milky lotion-like smoothness with a hint of musky, salty ambergris and smoky frankincense in the background. At this point, Guidance is a skin-like scent, but it never becomes just a vanilla scent because vanilla is always somewhere discreetly enveloping all other notes in this powdery, creamy hug. This is the scent of peachy hazelnut vanilla dessert served on a wooden table in the base. Even though it's very hard to discern the exact ingredients, the scent just gets better as it dries down, with always present this slightly carnal animalic note bordering between sensual and dirty, giving such unusual and alluring vibe at the same time. And despite such strange notes, strange composition, and accords that in theory shouldn't go together, this is artistically smoothly done, warm, woody, nutty, fruity floral scent with incredible creaminess and smoothness, making me imagine all things muted, peachy, and pastel-like. It's the scent of Arabian princess eating peachy hazelnut vanilla dessert in a room with a ton of flowers and expensive woody furniture. Guidance is a feminine, colder weather, and special occasion worthy perfume because it's not the easiest composition to pull off. It has some maturity in intriguing, sexy, and not in an old-fashioned way, while still being quite modern and a true chameleon because of its multifaceted character and the way it progresses on your skin. It wasn't love for me at a first sniff. Well, to be honest, not even on the second, but the more I wear it, the more I enjoy its mischievous, flirty character. So don't judge it based just on one wear because it has many different nuances. Guidance is a strong fragrance, especially for the first 3 to 4 hours, but because the blend is so smooth, it kind of gives impression of softness, and it's easy to go anosmic to some of the ingredients, so spray it lightly. I can smell it even 3 days after spraying it on tester strip, while on my skin I get 8 hours of longevity. This is stunning and it's completely different from anything I've smelled so far. So for its scent, Guidance Eau de Parfum gets 8. For its performance, it gets 9. Overall, I would rate it with 8.5 out of 10. But what about Guidance 46? 46 refers to 46% of oil concentration. So when you spray it on your skin, it's very oily. I don't know, can you see how oily it is? Like, very oily, and thus I wouldn't recommend spraying it on clothes because it will stain them. Flankers usually change up some notes, but here all the notes are the same with few additions, so both have the same DNA, and when you compare them side by side you can notice differences. I've been comparing them for the last 2 weeks, writing all the different aspects I've noticed, so I hope this review will be helpful to you, and if it is, then boop the like button button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content coming up. In the opening of Guidance 46, rose water, pink pepper, and bitter almond were added to the original composition, and let me tell you, they make a huge difference. While in the original I got like nondescript fruits and florals, in Guidance 46 they are much easier to identify. So I got a very noticeable pear from the start, but it's very juicy, it's very sweet, and also I got a lot of bitter almonds and this fresh rose water, while in the background some pink pepper and frankincense give off some spiciness. So here are the main differences in the opening. In the original, pear was definitely tangier and greener, but in Guidance 46, pear is more prominent, more identifiable, more natural smelling, and just juicy sweet. Olibanum or frankincense was much more noticeable in the opening of the original, giving balsamic, woodier, incensey qualities, while in Guidance 46, olibanum is muted down, so its incensey facets are replaced with slight pepperiness. Other than pear and olibanum, the original had very prominent, sweet, creamy hazelnut, but in Guidance 46, you got less hazelnuts and more almonds, giving bitter undertone to sweet scent. And because you get more almonds in 46, if almonds usually don't vibe with your chemistry, 46 might smell a bit medicinal to you, but if you're like me and you absolutely love nuttiness and almonds, then you will enjoy this addition. Also, another huge difference is that Guidance 46 from the start has very clean, a bit soapy, bright green and watery rose that makes the scent lighter and airier and fresher, more feminine, more pink smelling, while the original had this animalic note, some compare to women's private parts, even though to me it smells more like sweaty skin. So the opening of Eau de Parfum will be much more polarizing, sharper and rougher around edges, while Guidance 46 has a much more pleasant opening without that animalic feel because of the added rose water and also bitter almonds. So in the opening of Guidance 46, mostly you get peppery, clean rose, pear, and also bitter almonds that create together a scent of spiced rose poached pear decorated with bitter almonds. Initial fruitiness fades away and the scent becomes spicier, woodier, creamier, and more floral in the heart with most prominent saffron and rose. And now differences I'll mention between Eau de Parfum and Guidance 46 are really minimal, and they focus mostly on the intensity of a certain note in these fragrances. In Guidance 46, rose is much more prominent, it's syrupy sweet and also a lot fresher, while rose in Guidance Eau de Parfum was creamier and more powdery with muted and indistinct character. Also, saffron is more noticeable in Guidance 46, supporting rose with its spicy musky facets, while in the original you get much more of that oriental incensey and leathery aspects of olibanum or frankincense, which gave the scent slight oriental Middle Eastern vibe. In Guidance Eau de Parfum, osmanthus was very prominent, coloring the entire composition with its peachy, fruity vibe, so the original almost felt like the scent of peach-scented lotion because of its creaminess and peachiness, while Guidance 46 has subtle and toned-down, fruity, peachy aspects of osmanthus. Another difference is that Akigala wood is more dominant in Guidance 46, so in the dry down, the entire composition feels woodier and it lacks lactonic hazelnut creaminess you got in the original. If that heavy hazelnut milky smoothie quality bothered you in the original, you will prefer the dry down of Guidance 46 because the scent feels a bit fresher, less lactonic, woodier, almondy, and more floral, while the original was nuttier, fruitier, smokier, milkier, and more gourmand. So in the heart, Guidance 46 is a saffron-induced woody sweet rose with pear, almonds, and a touch of peachy osmanthus, so it smells like you're eating spiced poached pear with bitter almonds and drinking saffron rose tea sweetened with honey in a wooden cabin. In the end, I'm left with creamy, woody, musky sweetness, some faint pear, rose, and a touch of nuttiness underneath, slightly revealing that creamy lactonic texture Original had, but Guidance 46 is significantly less vanillic and less gourmand than the Original. So the Original had more powdery, ambery, milky vanillic base, while Guidance 46 is woodier, muskier, and creamier in the base, even though it is still sweet but not in a gourmand way. And when you compare them side by side, you can notice that woody notes in the Original have some drier, almost pencil shaving facets, while in Guidance 46, woodiness has incredibly smooth, silky, velvety texture. In the base of the Original, fruity peachy osmanthus still gives some interesting playfulness, but instead, in Guidance 46, cistus gives herbaceous, almost minty feel, continuing a touch fresher scent profile Guidance 46 had throughout its development in comparison to Guidance Eau de Parfum. So no, this is not a fresh perfume, but it's slightly fresher compared to the Original. In the end, Guidance 46 finishes as the scent of woody interior of wooden cabin, where sweet scent of spiced poached pear with almond cream still lingers in the air next to rose tea and a small mint herb growing in the flower pot in the distance. Guidance 46 is more versatile scent, wearable even on summer evenings because rose water and cistus were added, giving some additional freshness to those woody, fruity floral notes. I love the opening of this new flanker, and also I really like its dry down, but what shocked me completely was the performance. Because of the hefty price tag, and thankfully I managed to get it for a lot less, but still very pricey, and because of that, price, because of 46% oil concentration, I thought Guidance 46 couldn't struggle at all with the performance, but it does on my skin. It projects moderately for an hour and then poof, it's gone. It becomes a vague skin scent. I really have to bring my hand up to my nose to be able to smell it for another 4 to 5 hours, and then it completely vanishes, even though on this tester strip I can smell it until the next day. Guidance Eau de Parfum definitely outperforms this flanker, especially in terms of projection and sellage. Thus, high concentration just means this will be smoother, richer, not louder, but if the Original was too in your face, then yes, you might love this new 46 flanker because it's more toned down. Based on the performance and scent profile, Guidance 46 would get 10 out of 10 for its scent, but 7 for performance, so overall it scores 8.5 out of 10. The original Guidance Eau de Parfum was created with mission of portraying frankincense or olibanum, the greatest treasure of Oman, to the world, and it managed to do so because it blends oriental facets with contemporary abstract smelling fruits and flowers, while on the other hand, Guidance 46 is a more natural smelling, better blended scent that loses those Middle Eastern influences and goes in a woody rose direction. Both are lovely and about 85 to 90% the same. The more you wear them and the more you train your nose smelling different perfumes, the more you will notice slight differences, but they are just that, slight differences. So I feel it's kind of redundant. Of course, if you're not a huge fragrance collector or a huge lover of Guidance, to own both, especially considering high price points. If you still haven't had the chance to try either one of them, here's a quick recap that might help you in choosing one. If you love semi-gourmand, vanilla, and lactonic nutty aspects in perfumes, then you might enjoy Original more, but if you prefer floral and woody perfumes, then Guidance 46 might suit you better. Guidance Eau de Parfum is more memorable, bolder scent, perfect for special occasions or moments when you want to leave lasting impression on others. It's more interesting, it's a more complex fragrance with many different aspects, and also it's more playful and definitely sexier, while Guidance 46 is polished until perfection and thus more likable, safer, but also more versatile both season-wise and both occasion-wise. So it could be everyday scent, appropriate even for professional settings. It's not as complex as the original was, but it's a more crowd-pleasing, easier to wear scent, and even though it has some sensuality, in comparison to the original, Guidance 46 smells more tamed, softer, calmer, and thus more elegant. On the other hand, if you already tried the original Guidance and you're absolutely in love with it, I think you're good sticking with the original. You're not missing a lot, but if the original was too off-putting, too loud for you, then don't let your dislike for the original prevent you from testing this new 46 flanker, because this version is smoother and definitely worth the sniff. So here's a summarized version of pluses and minuses of both of these fragrances. In the visual category, I prefer the bottle of Guidance 46. It's simply stunning, but in price category, the original is much cheaper. Like, this isn't a cheap fragrance, but it's cheaper compared to 46, so it would be a better option. In the performance category, Guidance Eau de Parfum is longer lasting, definitely louder, definitely better projector, so it wins over Extra. However, Guidance 46 has absolutely better smelling, opening, and overall better blended scent, even though I still wish it had just a bit more that lactonic, nutty, vanilla characteristics I got in the original. But without a doubt, I prefer how Guidance 46 smells over Guidance Eau de Parfum. Finally, both are compliment getters, but in terms of complexity, original wins, while Extra wins in terms of versatility. So yeah, it's a tie. Both got 4 pluses and both got 8.5 out of 10 for their scent profile and performance. The one that will be better for you depends on how important these pluses are for you. Is the scent more important to you than the performance and vice versa? But if I had to pick just one, I would pick the Extra because I can wear it every day and I prefer the way it smells, even though I wish it had a bit more presence and projection. But this is just what I think. Share what are your thoughts and experiences with Guidance Eau de Parfum and Guidance 46 in the comments, and also do you think this new version is worth such a steep price tag? And if you want to watch another in-depth and detailed comparison video, then check this review next. I will see you there. Bye!